Yay. Cool. Hopefully they get better about selectors soon. All right. One second. I had my headphones set up the wrong way. Or sorry, my game sound, I should say. Oh, and that's why, because literally every time my computer goes to sleep, headphones apparently disconnect. It's gonna get really annoying if they can't fix that. Alright. Hey Dre, Happy New Year. Welcome, Highline. Happy New Year to you as well. There's not a clear team button, is there? I guess you can tap square fast enough. That doesn't really matter. The penny's probably a good one. Thanks, Sayan. I appreciate that. So I'm missing Tech and Mutant. I don't think I want to use Strife. I never have fully ranked up Kitty, and that was pretty much what that year was. Sorry, Jubilee. Okay, let's bring Penny. Ooh. Tells you how little I've used Purgatory so far. Nope. She doesn't have a relic yet, but that's okay. I don't deal with that right now. I'm not going to announce anything that hasn't been announced on those. As far as I know, they're still in the update on Monday, but if the spotlights aren't ready, then they're not ready. Hey, Swarley, AMK, welcome. There be snacks. Hey, Adrian. Ooh. What type of damage is heal reversal? It's not a type. I believe it is reduced by protection nodes, though, yes. Have I decided which path I'm going to take? I have not. Gosh darn it! Sorry, Okay, I need to write down real quick. I'm gonna open Slack and make a note on this. Sorry, literally just opening the Slack channel so I can type about this afterwards. Okay. I haven't tried playing Negs at all on PC yet. So far, so good, though. Hey, Alejandro. Yeah, and God help you if you actually click on something. Hey, MSD. Is it the unfazed thing, or you just don't enjoy him generally? Wow, 1% bug. Always amuses me when people call that a bug. Fair enough. I generally try and avoid parry heavy in my champions when I can. Nice, Jay. Congrats on Photon. I'm glad you're not disappointed. Yeah, those are both very good champs. I just have to wait for it to go away. There's nothing else I can do without screaming. Did not mean to throw that medium. There we go. Yeah, if you are planning to actually do the Deathless run, then I think that it's clearly the better play right now. But I know not everyone will. Is there a better word in Spanish for unlucky than desafortunadamente, Alejandro? Because that's the only one I can think of, and that would not be a quick way to talk about it. I figure there has to be something shorter. Nice, Osty. What did I get from... Oh, yeah. I got Spiral from my ranked rewards. I'm pretty happy about that. We use a stronger word. I haven't heard Salado before. Hey, Near. What's the root of that? Apologies if I'm asking y'all to basically curse. I'm just curious from like an etymology perspective if salado is at all related to salacious. It feels like it might be. Huh. I'll look into that later. It's salty. Got it. And I realize you did not mean Saturday. Oh, it's upsetting your upbringing was. That's hilarious. Gotcha. Gotcha, Near. Thank you. Hey, Aston. Happy New Year, wait. Hey, Gav. Or sorry, Gov, that's right. Yeah, I also got 2 to 3. I don't know how close it was, but like it is definitely worth remembering that this kind of event is exponential, or at least very non-linear. And also those percentages are pretty big. A lot of people qualified for rank rewards. So it makes sense that some of those buckets are pretty big. Kitty. How dare. Not off the top of my head, Oxygen. Funny to see YOLO in the top 200. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. YOLO is fond of limiting his net salary, shall we say. Nice, Jay. That first stoop goes really far with him. Hope you enjoy that. Yeah, I remember. I think I probably died to the Mephisto on that quest. Those were a little tricky. Neither, well, I guess Mephisto does heal if you don't get through him enough. But if Modoc's all you got, I would just recommend going outside the science class, honestly. Yeah, it's been interesting seeing the very mixed reactions to this Summoner's Choice. I mean, people complain literally every year, but... Sorry. Shang-Chi feels weird for me on PC. I tend to actually use different inputs for my first and last medium on controller, which is a big reason why it took me a minute to get used to him. I'll get more comfortable, but keeping in mind. Wait, honestly, don't even ask, dude. Oh, wait, I was thinking this was... Like, just don't ask if I'm permitted to say something. Because if you have to phrase it that way, you shouldn't be asking. Hey, John. Uh, I wouldn't say it's different, Oxygen. It's when things feel different on PC, it's normally to do with going forwards and backwards, and it definitely bothers me sometimes. If you have the choice, Jay, bring a 7-star to Necropolis. The Challenger rating makes a big, big difference in how much damage you can do. That was my fault. On a couple levels. Tried to hit the medium there, and nothing happened. Ooh. Hey, dude. Happy New Year. Who are the remaining two, Clobberin? I don't remember off the top of my head. Blue Marvel and Morgan? Gotcha. It's interesting. Clearly that didn't feel good. I didn't know if Odin was actually built correctly for that. Interesting. I put out a video on her, Jordan. Put you towards that. Thanks, Kurt. I would love for a Crystal Gorgon month to happen. Bad. I don't know why I tried to punish that. There we go. Oh, nice. I missed that up earlier, Robert. Congrats on Valiant. Yeah, I like Penny as an attacker, even though I did not play her well just now. That's interesting, John. It's a cool list. Whoops. See, right there, that's one. That's worth reporting. 1 second. Thanks for being a member, Odie. Thanks for releasing. That's a funny one. Okay. Really wasn't expecting that auto block out of nowhere. Thanks for that, Penny. Love it. I would have thought that would have done more. Huh. Yeah, the mausoleum is permanent. That is interesting about the four. From a story perspective, it's kind of hard for me to imagine us not having the mystics we've had, though. Because Shothra was Summoner's Choice. Enchantress fit into an Asgardian event where Agatha would not have. Spiral fit into a Mojo event where Agatha would not have. And Isophine being an idol is obviously unique. And that's probably why we didn't get her this year. Adding all that up. Oh, don't give me the frickin' broken heart. It was a year ago, Eddie. And she was obvious, like, White Tiger was also Summoner's Choice and was a better pairing with Bullseye. What do you need a 7-star Odin for, Lee? I don't think there's any fights that really require him. Good luck, Alejandro. So I'm curious on that, Kurd. Do you actually want another Wolverine kit, or do you want that in game? Like, we don't have any plans for skins, but if that was a skin, would you be happy? Or do you actually want a, what would that be, fifth kit for Wolverine in game? I dodged, you jerk. See, that's where I was going next, Char. Because adding another version of Logan before Gabby's in game, or, you know, Dakin for those of you with unrefined tastes, just seems like a mistake to me. Yeah, I've seen that before, Nichols, and I don't know why, but c'est la vie. Yeah, Having done that one, Lee, I used Odin because I had him at rank 3. I can't imagine it being worth you waiting until you get somebody who's in the 7-star base pool, which is over 100 champions now, as opposed to just using a couple revives. I don't think you need Odin at all. And the synergies and pre-fights from the 6-star. No, see, I'm going to push back really hard on that double P. Why do skins need to have stat bonuses at all? Especially stronger ones than stat focus, which are already pretty significant. You can get 15% physical resistance from stat focus. You want more than that on a skin? Why would you put that on our balance team? Thanks for the gift, Lee. I appreciate you. Rigged. I would want the actual character because he'd be different. Okay, I appreciate the response. That definitely makes it a harder sell, not gonna lie. How dare you insult Dakin when Onslaught's in the game? No, I'm standing on that hill. I love Gabby. I would think you would want some way to earn it the same way that a Tuma can near. Like, you wouldn't just want it to be, like, on all mediums, right? I don't think that would be good. Wait, what am I doing? Sorry, excuse me. But like, I don't know, maybe if when the armor break is active, Korg deals his thorns offensively, or when crowd excitement is at max, or like when unstoppable, right? Like there are multiple things you could do, but like I do think that that would potentially work. The main issue is that Atuma's thorns are in his base kit, and Korg's thorns are only in his Sig and scale with Sig level. So you would have to be careful how important you made it, and you might even need to move a certain amount of thorns into the base kit, but then you're also buffing defensive Korg, which is maybe okay now, but like you see where I'm going with this, right? It would be a little bit involved, but there's a way to do that. I do not like how the Special 3 minigame feels on controller. I know it's going to get patched so you can use any button, but the trigger just... I hate the timing. Oh. So what happened there is I hit my special a split second after she threw hers. Love me that. Yeah, and I don't think it would impact the animations. I think that'd be a pretty hard line in the sand for skins. And I really don't care how much people say, oh, but it'd be cool. Yeah, whatever. Sometimes your ideas you think are cool are terrible game design. Um, Hitboxes is my concern. I would want them not to change hitboxes, but then that might mean that sometimes it looks like they should impact hitboxes, and that's its own concern. I think I might need to spend a little bit of this real quick. Who am I taking up next? Probably Sinister, so let's work on Mutant. Still much easier to navigate most menus with the mouse. Yeah, I personally would argue very strongly against stat bonuses for skins. It's a tough one in our game, right? Because like you could argue that some of our older, simpler characters could be collapsed together, right? Like the OG Captain Marvel and Miss Marvel. Do those need to be different kits, or could they just be skins, right? Personally, I think if we were going to do skins, I would just collapse them. That's not simple from an engineering perspective in a live ops issue, but like that's what I would do, right? But the deathless characters are never going to be collapsed into the normal characters. They have separate kits, they had separate acquisition methods. That's not going to happen. And so like imagine we put out a skin for Guillotine, and you are running into Guillotine in Battlegrounds, and you have to decide if you're banning her, right? And like, I don't need any smart ass comments in the chat, but just like imagine that you have to, for some reason, figure out whether this is OG Guillotine or Deathless Guillotine, and your opponent has a skin on their OG Guillotine that makes her like darker, right? Now you as a veteran player who's watching my stream, that's probably not going to catch you. You're going to figure out the difference. But what if you're a new player? How do you tell the difference, right? How do we communicate the difference? Do we do it on the nameplate? In which case, how do we make it different from just this deathless in parentheses? And how do we go about doing like a skin for Captain America Infinity War, who already has an absurdly long name? Do we do it with just the in-game skin, in which case you're not showing it off here? Do we do it with the profile picture, in which case, again, how do you tell like OG from Deathless? There are problems to be solved for sure. Like you can't even really do it with a toggle because of things like Battlegrounds, right? Like imagine Photon had her like OG Spectrum suit, and you could click on her and then it like showed, oh, this is the original Photon. But still, you would have to do that individually, so you need something faster. The UI and like game the UI and systems design implications of skins in our game are pretty complicated. Like this is very, very different than in Marvel Rivals, where you only have a few characters, there are no duplicates, and you can just learn that that weird green thing is Hela, right? Like it doesn't look like Hela's normal skin, but yeah, you see it a couple times, you get used to it. Very, very different when you're looking at like 20 characters as opposed to 300. I would love skins, but it's complicated. Yeah, I hear you, Char. Like I still like it, but it is not simple. Question about Purgatory. Your special 3 damage when in Demonic Rampage is 4% of max health and direct damage. Is that supposed to be a burst of damage or just 4% in special damage scaling with whatever the health pool is? The latter, because as a reminder or as new information for some of you, special 3s deal direct damage. Special 3s deal direct hit damage, which means they're subject to armor because there's nothing about direct damage that ignores armor. That's a common misconception. Um, direct damage is just damage that is neither physical nor energy, and special 3s, by definition, are neither physical nor energy. And so the way that Purgatory's special 3 works is that it takes the opponent's armor into account, and so hers isn't hit by armor. But it is just direct damage as the actual damage of the hit, if that makes sense. I'd say the short version, Michaels, is that it is easier and harder. I think Deathless Guillotine and King Groot were definitely on the easier side. Vision, I think, was a bit more work because we were intentionally moving away from the original kit. She-Hulk was lighter work for me than the original would have, like, than a character out of whole cloth would have been, but I still obviously changed quite a bit. And I think it only really felt lighter because I had help, like, because it was a co-op, right? I've mentioned that in my video. And that kept me from being overwhelmed because there's a lot of expectations attached with that, right? Like I don't really like randomness as a starting point for my characters, and I'm careful with refreshes. And so I don't think I would have arrived at Deathless She-Hulk's kit out of nothing. But working off the template of the existing She-Hulk, like that basically meant that yes, I had some of my work done for me, but it also meant that I had to solve challenges I otherwise wouldn't have needed to, which is significant. Nah, it's okay, Kurt. Hit the wrong button. And then was too late to hit block and release it. That is 100% the thing that I just have not fully gotten down yet. Okay, that was fine. But coming from mobile, where everything is basically, you know, 2 fingers, and moving to this, where I'm minimum 4, and then they have to be in different places. That's only the fourth or fifth time I've even attempted perfect release, but yeah, it feels different some days. Hey, Cesar. What did I... Oh, I went to breakfast today, so probably gonna have a late lunch. So I don't know. But I did have a lovely pretzel bun breakfast sandwich. Would recommend. Ouch. Interesting. The organic magnetism was... Or no, because I didn't have any organic magnetism up. And I don't run Pacify. Why was she not evading sometimes? What am I missing? Does anyone know? Less accidentally swapping your arrows on PC. That is true. No, because she only goes on cooldown when she does evade MSD, not when she purifies. Okay, Kate's evade must not have the call out for stuns. That's my fault then. I'll have to fix that at some point. I don't think the cooldown should be triggering there. It's almost like I was rushed during her development and didn't have time to fix things. I mean, I fixed as much as I could. I didn't think that I left bugs, but it's just, I think I would have found more with more time. C'est la vie. Nah, it's not when she would have evaded AMK. That's what I'm saying. That is not how she's supposed to work. Is not what her description says. Yeah, I get it. Whoops. No, that's not how it works, Swirly. No, I know what the issue is. Coding is when you're the victim, the murderer, and the detective all at once. That's the truth. Hey, Chris. Thanks, Jay. I appreciate you. Backing up a little bit. Rex asks if leader would be too good if the gate's on the opponent's side. Nah, you're thinking about it wrong, Rex. It's not a... That's not something to hold him back. The gameplay just felt better there, and it felt less binary there, is another big thing. Like, it's... if you're thinking about it as like, oh, we tried to make it harder to balance him, then that's just not accurate, right? That's the wrong framing. We made that choice because we wanted to do something different. That's one of them. And we also liked the effect it had on it because the thing about corner gameplay, speaking as someone who built Kate and Serpent, the thing about corner gameplay is that you have to get them all the way over there. And if you attach too much to it, then kits fall apart when you can't have them in the corner. If you attach too little to it, then it gets ignored. And so things can end up feeling very binary, like I said. Leader's kit is intentionally less binary. You can go back and forth over the green door, you're there when you can be, but it's not like it's not, oh, my opponent threw one special, and so I'm like never going to get to the wall again, which can happen. I'm not explaining this well. I think I'm clearly tired and maybe a little bit hungry. Um, but yeah, it's not a balancing issue. It's the gameplay works better for what we wanted with it in the middle. I do think Thanos wants the SIGs the most. Come on! Did you see that? Dexterity even showed up, and that was the first. Ugh. You jerk. But yeah, I would send SIGs. That one was my fault. I hit the wrong button. I would send SIGs to Thanos first, Jen second, rest of the Deathless third. Nice, Harry. Glad you're liking her, and congrats. Thanks, Jordan. That's a good way to look at it, Swarley. About Sable with the spacing. I do think the wall is generally best with her, but it's a good show. Yeah, exactly, Harry. Like the way that we like to talk about those things, because the same is true of root, the same is true of power control, the same is true as phasing. There are a number of mechanics that we call out in design reviews as needing support. Like, it's fine if you want to play with this, but understand you can't do it alone. There are going to need to be multiple other things in this kit that make that work. And it's not that Leader's Green Door doesn't have support. I think it does. but I think it has the amount of support necessary for where it is. Excuse me. Like the benefiting from shortened combos, the aggression, that kind of stuff. All of that works for it being in the middle. I don't think leader has the support for if the green door was in the corner. Where does Thanos stand in terms of prestige? Not super high. Like he's okay. I think top 20, top 30. But everyone's getting him. That's not where you put the new prestige chase, to be perfectly blunt. No, I don't think you do wish that, Jordan, because then leader would be awful on defense. And I think that the degen would have to be a lot weaker too, because that sounds like it'd be pretty overpowered. I didn't mean to back out of that quest. Okay, give me a second. I'm going to use the restroom. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Hey, Pablo. Yeah, and honestly, we tried leader with a root. Well, when the green door was open, honestly, it wasn't better. We didn't like what it was doing. Like, we did try this stuff. I would happily take the Titan Nexus, but I have not gotten any gems that work for Maestro, and so pretty easy choice for me. I do think you want Maestro Awakened. And I don't really want to sit around and wait for the next Cosmic Gem and then have to go, do I want to use it on him or somebody else who's come out that's great? I think if you have a gem, especially if you're like Nah and you get multiple Cosmic Gems at this point in the life cycle, then it makes perfect sense to do that and take the Titan Nexus. Ugh. If you don't have a way of duping Maestro, then I don't think you should be fancy about it. Okay. So my block inputs are just not working right now. I love that. And I really should not have carried that one. Please don't try and put her in a box, Modad. I don't like those kinds of questions. Like, what even is a medium fight in your estimation? And I know I've given answers like this before, so I should clarify. The reason I don't like these kinds of questions is because I've heard just way too much from the community lately. Like, just look at the entire Sentry debacle, right? We said, oh, we intended him for long fights. We specifically wanted him to be great in incursions. And people go, an incursions champ? I don't like incursions. And then decided he was useless everywhere. And it didn't matter how many times I said, no, 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 no. I just said that Sentry wasn't good for battlegrounds. He's fine for war. He's fine for, like, Autumn of Agony. He's fine. He's fantastic for Everest content. Like, the character's just good, just not in battlegrounds. It didn't matter how many times I said that. People were like, I don't know why you ruined this character by bringing them for incursions. And, like, that's what I mean with, like, just stop trying to put characters in buckets. And I know, I'm sorry because that's not you that did that. It's something I've just dealt with from the community over the last month. But I think what I'm going for... Thanks, Char. What I'm going for here is, like, what question are you actually asking there, right? Because it feels like you're trying to take the easy way out and ask for a label for a champion. And I'm not interested in that. But are you asking, is she fast enough for battlegrounds? Are you asking, does she feel good in war? Are you asking, does she have the damage and or ramp to work in Necropolis? Because I think if those are the questions you want to ask, those are the questions you should ask. Hopefully that makes more sense. Sorry for taking it out on you a little bit. Thanks, Todd. There actually was a little voice acting gig recently that I wanted to apply for on the side, but I didn't have time to get the recording in. I think it'd be fun. Even if that voice was literally just me channeling Matt Berry. No, Stig, it's not. I'm just holding myself back from not getting impatient with you because that's a perfectly reasonable question to ask, but I've answered this question at least 7 times in the last 48 hours. Um, as a general rule, art bugs, which includes Spiral's special one thing, because like as you said, it's an animation issue. Art bugs are client side, as opposed to like if somebody's supposed to gain a fury and doesn't or is doing too much damage, that's server side. And the difference there is that the client is the actual game you download from the App Store. Um, Whereas the server data is like what we have on our server and the reason you need to be online. And so if something is server data, then it's pretty simple. It's not trivial, right? Which is why we don't just fix everything. There are multiple people we have to get involved. Things have to be run through QA. There are live ops people who have to move the data, etc. But it is possible for us to change the data on the server and for them to have that be live and fixed. And so when significant problems show up, like a war tactic is bugged, as long as that server code, we can fix that. If something is in the client, like art and animations, which have to be kind of baked into the files you download, then that's not something that we can fix for you without doing a hot fix. And hot fixes are messy because there's only so many times we're allowed to do that a year. It has to go through Apple approvals. It has to go out onto the game store. We have to force everyone to download it. It's a lot. Um, and so the other side of that is because they have to go through approvals and all of that kind of thing, art fixes, client fixes take longer overall. And so that's generally something where even if we figure it out right away, you're looking at like a minimum of 6 weeks before something goes out. As opposed to a server fix where it's like it normally takes closer to that 4 to 6 weeks, but if I really need to get something in under the wire, I could potentially get a server fix in without too much trouble 1 to 2 weeks before. And for something like Spiral, if that was possible, we would have. But yeah, so that should probably be in February, and I'm not 100% committing to that either because I don't know that we do have a fix yet. But like that's why that takes longer, and I'm gonna ask about it on Monday. Thanks, Pablo. Couldn't get 8 charges with Sentry and Necropolis. I'll keep practicing. Yeah, that probably is just a practice thing. Will she be usable in most game modes, or will she shine better in certain areas? Okay, so I can definitely answer the second half, right? The vicious passive has its own duration. Falling below 50 doesn't remove it. No. So like that's kind of the point of what you're supposed to do there, right? You get the vicious, you use the heavy to consume combo and drop back below and re-inflict the dots with the benefit of the vicious. So yeah, you're totally fair to do that. Um, as far as damage, I forget because I don't think I played her final tuning version too much. So I'm not sure how amazing she's going to feel in very long fights. But Okoye has a 4.5 in damage for a reason. She's going to feel at least viable pretty much everywhere. Hey, easy. Hi. Snoops. Yeah, no worries, Stick. It's a good question. This is the first chance I think I've had to address it. on stream. So worth going into a bit more. Hey, Mr. Pickles. Oh, come on! I'm pretty sure I think I hit the light attack in time on that one. That's just his super boosted, stupid light attack doing work. Alright, we'll take the long way. No! Sorry, I think I need to take a break soon. My dexes are not feeling great. Okay. I honestly don't know, Yuki. I think there's a longer list, but I don't remember. Yes, Black Hole, she definitely will. Yeah, like Pickle said, we've seen that elsewhere. No, Icarus, she's not mine. Thanks, Stig. I'm glad you're enjoying him. Jesus. Nothing is working right now. Yeah, my next champion is in March. Oh, I need to update that in my overlay. Yeah, no, I'll take the willpower healing. That was just... Oh, not doing my best right now. Ouch. My bad. I mean, you can check that yourself, Triple H, right? By just looking at the boosts. You'd be doing the same work that I would. That's like, I'm not trying to be sarcastic. I'm saying, like, I don't understand asking me because I would be checking the exact same way you would. None of this is speaking to me. They will be. It won't be when a threshold is reached, Todd. But that doesn't mean that it's going to be absolutely ironclad intervals either. Or at least not that I know of, and I don't want to commit the balance team to that. So neither is kind of the answer. But yes, Patriot will be part of that batch system. Yeah, I'm not touching that question with a 10-foot pole, Mr. Pickles. I'm not on the balance team. Good old Shocker and his absolute nonsense hitboxes. If you're talking about the Chronoversary specifically, Triple H, no, I don't believe it matches that. But again, like, that is something that you can check, right? Like, you can literally just compare this number to Battlegrounds, right? Does that make sense? Yeah, that's my fault. Come on! I, like, cannot get out of the way of mediums today. That one was fair. As was that. Nice, Pablo. Hey, Zephyr. Oops. Jeez, that hurt. Will I do a stream for the Deathless Necro run? Very likely. We'll see. I need to try actually streaming with my iPad again. Because I don't want to do all of the Necropolis runs on PC. But if my capture card's not going to behave, then I don't have much of a choice. Right, right. Interesting, CT. Because I do use that dongle for the iPad. That's very interesting. I guess did getting a new one solve it? Because this is years old. It looks, like you said, perfectly fine, but I guess I wouldn't be completely upset for getting a new one. Why, Magnus? Why is that crazy? So I do want to question further, CT. Were you able to get some picture and then it would break later? Because that's what I'm running into. Or were you just not able to get it to show up at all in the first place? Okay, yeah, that sounds very similar to mine. Okay, I appreciate it. I guess I have a purchase to make then. They're somehow still $35, right? Apple over there minting or printing money. Okay, I have not played in Glad Circuit at all. I don't even know if I want to, but let's start over. Okay, so like I know that the fear thing hurts him, but Serpent has to still be incredible, right? Hmm. Yeah, where's my Sinister? There he is. Whoops, excuse me. I don't really want to abuse Count Nefaria's interaction, so I don't know that I will be doing that. Oh, it is 100% a bug. Yeah. Abuse is not fun. Because to explain why it's a bug real quick, the thing to remember is that, like, Count Neferi is supposed to gain a portion of what he reduces, like, of what he prevents the opponent from gaining, right? So either he's preventing the opponent's gain, in which case they don't gain a full bar, or he doesn't, and therefore he shouldn't get credit for reducing it. What's happening right now is that he's not reducing the gain appropriately, but he's still patting himself on the back for having reduced it and gaining way too much power. You're saying gore because of the root. Got it. Where is my gore? I don't even have one on this account, do I? There it is. Oh, rank 1? I'm not doing that right now. Adam's probably pretty bad. Gamora's probably better. If Penny's a problem, then maybe I should be throwing Odin in. Wait, do I not have Enchantress yet? Okay, hold on. You take Quicksilver out? You probably haven't used Quicksilver in Power Shield. Quicksilver in Power Shield is throw special to win. The thing, Snoops, is just, I don't know. Gamora's probably still good. Odin is a little simpler. Too slow. I mean, you said you're in C6. I'm not getting anywhere up there. Yeah, y'all have mentioned thing. I'm pretty sure no? Okay, I thought I had him in there. Whatever. This I find Battlegrounds so exhausting because of this. It's too many dang champions. Shockers for defense, Magnus. How does Longshot come out? That's special 2 win, and he accelerates his special 2. I'm trying to find room for Red Skull. That's why we're still here. Slip, don't even. Like, I'm sorry. I'm just. Ugh. Go to the forums if you want to complain. Go away. Jothra should be really good. Yeah, I'm not taking Shothra out. There. Hey, Colin. Uh, it's a tough one. He doesn't directly benefit from any of them. As you can see, I have Sentinel on just because that makes it a little bit easier to hold on to your Incinerate. You benefit from the Incinerate being active, but you don't really care about Incinerate damage. So that would be my recommendation. All right, I'm just gonna hit go on this one, and we'll see. Like, there's more things I could do, but yeah, I can show the full deck real quick. You'd think this would expand out. There's so clearly room. Yeah, I saw the Carl shout, Pablo, and I appreciate it, but I don't think I really want to punch up. But I'm sorry, I think I literally hit a button by accident. Yeah, I'm gonna play with Purgatory. I'm pretty confident she's gonna feel good, but we'll see. Like, honestly, it's possible Medusa won't feel great. Yeah, we'll see. Suppose I can. Controller's fine. It's not my favorite, but it's fine. Yeah, I'm really not concerned with Celestial Tactics Clobbering. I appreciate it, but I'm not going to play that much. No, I still need to rank my Deadpool. Sinister Need is dupe? Not really, but it can be helpful. Yeah, I'm happy somebody spent on the games, although I hope they can fully afford that and they aren't doing anything dumb with it. It's neither mine nor Kabam's responsibility to insist people are responsible with their purchases, unfortunately. But I hope that people are only spending what they can I want this game to last for years and years. I want this game to last off of people's truly disposable income, but that's pretty much the only thing I'm worried about. People want to spend on this rather than going to the casino or, I don't know, buying another several bottles of Louis XIII or a car that they're not going to drive. Like, who on earth am I to judge? I didn't even see the score against Leader. I saw they used Odin though, so that makes sense. Just playing it safe. Thanks, Ryan. Ouch. I know I'm just supposed to block. I know. And we actually lost our atrophy because of that. Unfortunate. Yeah. One thing I will say about Banquet, because I think a lot of people are missing this point. Most of the whales I know feel like they overshot things. And I take that as a really, really good sign for the health of the game. Because that means that relative to how much they were spending, how much the people they knew were spending, relative to what the realm event looked like, that means there were more people spending smaller amounts than they thought. And that is a very, very good sign for the sustainability of the game. Who am I voting for in Summoner's Choice? Daredevil Electra. My top choice would be Power Man, because I really want to design Victor Alvarez, but I'm not available for that build this year, so I am actively hoping he loses so I can get him later. I responded to a question on this not too long ago in Reddit, Colin. Not expecting you to have seen it, but basically the way that works is that it's um Marvel's call ultimately. And so like often we will, I'm not part of that team, so I don't really know, but I know that the did I just auto draft Serpent? What the frick? Okay, well, yay? Whatever. Not quite what I wanted. But yeah, there's a back and forth with Marvel because there often like there are characters that could be multiple classes. Often if somebody could be something other than a cosmic and cosmic, we try to not put them in cosmic because the cosmic class is absolutely massive. I don't even know how to feel about this. I'm just trying some things. But yeah, it's a back and forth with Marvel. Interesting, Javier. That definitely speaks to the bubble and also the value of what we put in the Realm event. That's really interesting. I would almost is a strong word, black hole. There was discussion of it. Yeah, I honestly think Ant-Man and Yellow Jacket are two of the only outright mistakes, in my opinion. I do think they should be tech. But from what I've heard, basically what that came down to was they just needed more science characters, and Marvel allowed them to go that way. I mean, technically, Korg isn't an Asgardian Clobberin. Always felt Sinister should have been science. That one comes from Marvel. His experimentation has canonically given him an X gene, therefore he is mutant. You don't know that, Zephyr. You do not know that all of them are skill. No, my Sinister's rank 2, Andrew. What's your source on that? Pretty sure we haven't said that. I don't know, Darkness, honestly. But at that point, that becomes. That's why we ask Marvel, you know? My gut. Yeah, I don't think we can go with that one. But I appreciate the honesty. Yeah. It's nice that they were kind enough to remove Nick from the equation, too. I really wasn't expecting that. Fun at parties, thank you very much. Then, then spell Asgard properly. There's no U in it. I'm sorry. Yeah, anti-venom probably could have been cosmic. That's really frustrating because that probably loses us the match, and I did hit the button. I will be surprised if Kushala loses enough health to make up for that time. Grr. All right. If Ant-Man came out as tech, would Wasp and Cassie be tech today? Probably. Which is a weird eventuality to think about, right? Because that's 4 characters, including Yellow Jacket, swapping over. Yeah, I think it's definitely fair to say Phoenix could have been mutant, but I don't think that that's a particularly good argument. Um, because I think if the character is Phoenix as opposed to Jean Grey, then the character is defined by the Phoenix Force. And the Phoenix Force is not an X gene, is not a mutation. Were Venoms and Anti-Venoms kits an inspiration for me while making Deathless She-Hulk? Not really, honestly. I don't remember thinking about that. I might want to ban Warlock. Sentinel might be more of a problem. If I got used to playing in PC, to a point, I could be more used to it. Kindred is annoying. Noted. Have I had a chance to play with North Star after the buff? I actually haven't. I wanted to find some time and I just didn't. I mean, it definitely depends, Snoops, but I will say I think Cassie in particular has an argument to be science, even if Ant-Man doesn't. That's more based on the comics, but speaking to it. Do I think it's easier than on mobile? No. In my opinion, the difference between science and tech in our game is that science is you the person have been altered and that's why you have powers, whereas tech is you're nothing without the suit, so to speak. Um and that's different. What? Okay. Okay. It took them. Did the MCU heavily influence Glass? In places. Hank Pym Ant-Man would be science, Scott Lang would be tech. Maybe? I'm not sure I'm willing to sign on to that one, at least with the obvious MCU influence for our Ant-Man. Ghost could be science. Ghost could absolutely be science, yeah. She has a good argument either way because she does need the text or the suit stabilizing her for her to feel good, right? Nah, Mysterio is definitely tech. That one. That one I think is pretty locked. We'll see, Zephyr. I don't know if I'm going to play around the route well enough here. Dang it. Okay. That could have been better. Probably could have gone straight to special 2. I just don't know. I may end up regretting that. You lose the Guillotine 99 soul if you die. I believe so, but that's simply because entering the fight is what spends it, Pablo. I'll be honest, we talked about Deathless Thanos potentially being superior. Um, there would need to be a fair amount of cleanup there that just wasn't possible this year. Yeah, I think that's accurate, Snoops. Black Panther can also be Mystic. It's not a difficult pitch. Or Science, honestly. Bro! Sorry, him hitting me before I had a chance to block. Very annoying. Whoops. Shoot. Alright. Okay, this is how not to play this fight. I'm a champion designer, Lombarder. Marvel says Deadpool counts as a mute. There's a chance, Nichols, maybe not a particularly strong one. Yeah, like Magic definitely has an X gene, but what makes her special is a lot of her mystical training, not just the X gene, right? So I think she's pretty obviously mystic. Like there's a case, but not a particularly good one. Like another really good example is I saw the discussion that I responded to on Reddit that had me thinking about this recently was somebody mentioned Wenwu, right? And that very much depends on exactly what we're pulling from, right? Because the miraculous Mandarin in comics feels more mystic, in my opinion. But some of that is just problematic Orientalism. Let's be completely honest. Wenwu in the MCU could easily be skill, the same way that Shang-Chi can. Wenwu could be mystic, again for similar reasons as Shang-Chi. Like Shang-Chi could have been mystic, right? It's more about hand-to-hand combat, but there's a mystic edge to some of those abilities, kind of like Iron Fist. You could justify tech because the rings themselves are tech. I personally think that's a stronger pitch than cosmic because I've seen some people say, well, the rings are from outer space, therefore cosmic. I think if the rings are still doing for you what tech would do for you, then that doesn't really work. But like, that's one character you can pitch in 4 classes. And I don't know that there's really a quote correct answer. It's kind of like, what could we get Marvel to agree to? I think Cosmic is the weakest of those 4 cases, but all 3 of the others are pretty strong. Go away. What class would Jeff be? If MODOK made him in a lab, that's probably science. I don't know much about Jeff. Fish. Technically speaking, yes. It also kind of depends on what Beyonder we're going with. The first one, yeah, Cosmic. Probably all of them Cosmic, but like definitely would wrap that a couple different ways. Anyway, I'm going to sign off and probably go eat half a bag of pretzels, because that feels like the kind of tired I am right, or the kind of hungry I am right now. But thank you all for hanging out. This is a good stream. It's good to be back. Keep an eye out for the gentle deep dive, or the gentle spotlight with context tomorrow. I will be doing that later today, now that I am draining a bit less. Pollen hit me bad when I got back from Pittsburgh. But yeah, I'll see y'all soon. Take care, everyone. I didn't say that, Pablo. I stopped myself, and I maintained plausible deniability that I could have been referring to the official deep dive. So there. All right, catch you later, everybody. Have a good one.